Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our inaugural day of the European side of the SPL. My name is Fdot, joined here by Brandon. We're going to get into some of the action we've got going on today.
I'm excited. Yesterday was dope.
Yes.
Luminosity going 0-2 in the beginning against Enemy shows a lot of potential from the lower-seeded teams. We're going to try to see the same thing today, starting off as Torpedo going to be going into the world champion Panthera.
Yes, these are the games we've got going on today, folks. Panthera versus Torpedo. Panthera, of course, previously known as Epsilon, so you've got sort of the defending world champions and one of the newest teams to the league by way of relegation. After that, we'll see Ataraxia's Hungry for More take on Badge's Leftovers, the battle of the new teams by old captains, and Fnatic taking on Team Dignitas, two teams that have seen a couple of replacements in their rosters as well. So exciting sort of scene changes on the side of Europe for today. But don't forget, your Monday Night Smite game will also be European. We're going to take a look at Fnatic taking on Paradigm, and that'll be an exciting one as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be our game of the week. These two teams have constantly fought for that second seed in Europe, right behind Epsilon. I'm expecting big things from Paradigm. They're not making, in fact, one of the only teams in the world that isn't making a roster swap.
Right.
Are they the only team?
They are the, outside of Epsilon.
Epsilon.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. They're the outlier here as they won bajillions of dollars.
And so my view on that one, I'm really excited because I've always viewed Fnatic as sort of a half a step ahead of Paradigm. And with Fnatic making some roster changes, everybody assumes that you're going to need some time to get the wheels rolling and get everything greased up. So Paradigm coming in with the same old roster, they should take that advantage and see if they can press it and take the 2-0, which is exactly what Torpedo and Panthera are going to be trying to do today. This is one of my, I'm really excited just to see. One, it's very interesting to see World Championship teams come back after the long off season, and then what happens when newer teams come into the league. And there's been a couple, so why don't we take a look at a snapshot of all of the teams going on in Europe today.
As you can see, in first place right now with 0-0 is going to be Panthera, having to do with the fact that they're the world champions. They're going up against the obviously irrelevant second seed, but still relevant Torpedo Gaming. A big thing for me, I'm a solo lane player. Most of you out there are going to know that. Dimi, the world champion solo laner, going up against Gamehunter, the first world champion solo laner, who's been missing from our scene for quite some time. Gamehunter constantly praised as one of the brightest minds of the game. When he's on his stuff, there's no one who can match him in terms of matchup knowledge. Dimi coming out with a few soft picks during Worlds, which people didn't expect, like Tier. I'm expecting a very good matchup today.
As am I. So let's get right into it, folks. Panthera taking on the opponent Torpedo coming up right now. And what seems to be a video crafted specifically for Europe, as Panthera absolutely loves their Ymir, and Bellona shows up well everywhere. We're here in our picks and bans. Panthera on the left with the first pick and the first ban, and they opt to take Giannis off the table immediately.
I think that's a good idea. Yammyn's God pool is enormous. Taking the best mage out of the game right away doesn't really hurt. And that might be an argument to be had. For the first time in a long time, Janus is under contest for best mage, as a lot of mid players are really leaning towards the now banned Raijin.
Yeah, we saw Bush play him yesterday to a great level. A lot of damage coming out for Raijin, and in the right situations, a little bit of control, and that's exactly what Khepri does. So Khepri's going to be taken away, and Neith.
Wow.
Going to be banned out as well. Another god that Yammyn really likes to play in that mid lane.
I was thinking Yammyn might even start the season off with Medusa.
Yeah,
that's a character that I think is very good, but it's going to be Soul, flex pick for Yammyn and emilitoo, as Torpedo Gaming has their chance to counter.
And I mean, this is the god quite literally of the team's namesake. When they were Epsilon, they have the team skin for winning the world championship.
Easy game, easy life.
Exactly. And like you said, it's not just emilitoo's god. This is also Yammyn's. So very interesting flex pick as Chronos is chosen for what could be the direct lane opponent.
I would like to see Vamana picked up. Not only is it Gamehunter's most celebrated god, but it is a direct counter to Soul. Is the hardest counter. Wow, no, they're going to choose Nasha, a character who can counter Soul, but if timing his ultimate incorrectly, could actually result in negating it completely if Soul is very smart about going into the corporeal form at the right times. Panthera to choose.
Fenrir will be the dog of choice here for Panthera.
Adapting did amazing things with this god during Worlds, during relegations, pretty much all the time. Chiron going to be picked up. Likely to see Chiron going into the duo lane. Not as much of a mid laner. We should now assume that Soul will be for Yammyn.
Exactly. That's all situated now. And Fenrir, one of my favorite gods to see adapting on, because this was the first god he brought into the SPL. And for the first couple of games when adapting came onto the scene, people were asking, is Fenrir all he can play? And obviously that question was answered very, very loudly as the season went on. So seeing the jungler return to his old pick is a lot of fun for me. And Guan Yu will be selected for Torpedo. Will this be in the solo lane?
It could be. It could also be support. It could probably not be jungle, given the fact that Nasha's already taken. But Guan Yu's a smart pick here because having healing against the squad, I think, is very important. Being able to negate a lot of what Soul does right away. Geb and Odin going to be banned, likely to be both support hits.
And then talking about the support, Murrdurr is actually the player for Torpedo Gaming. If that name isn't familiar to you, Kanye Life would be. He's the previous Guardian for Titan. Yes. So he's on Torpedo Gaming. He joined this team actually before they went through relegations. So that shows that a player that was in the SPL had enough confidence in this squad, knowing that they would win relegation.
And if you didn't believe us, there's the Ares ban.
Yep.
Right. That's a clear shot at Murrdurr.
Absolutely.
Torpedo Gaming has option out of the ban phase as Bacchus gets taken right before Ares. They're still looking likely for their solo or support, given that Guan Yu can flex. And then, of course, their Hunter. Although, again, flex pick possibility from Chronos. He's likely to be their mid laner.
Likely. But it can also, Moex is going to be your Hunter on the side of Torpedo. So a lot of familiar names you'll see once we get in the game. And I imagine a lot of fans at home will go, oh, okay, I remember these guys.
Moex, Gamehunter, nice. And there's
Ram.
the Moex guy.
There's the Moex pick, exactly. So we've got Ram on the side of Torpedo Gaming, which solidifies the fact that Chronos will be across from Soul in that mid lane. And Panthera's iRaffer will go for Ymir.
Now, I don't think there's a god better suited for this squad here than Ymir. What Raffer did during Worlds was very minor. He leveled his wall instead of his freeze or his carpet, something that no one has ever really done before. And it messed everyone up so badly that the character had to be banned out from the mid-tier. Dimi going to go tried and true with Lady Bell. She gets locked in. Final pick, likely to be solo, but could be support for Torpedo. So either Gamehunter or Murrdurr going to be getting a pick here. I'm assuming it's going to... Oh, wait, jungle. No, solo.
At this point, honestly, knowing Gamehunter's creativity, I mean, so it could be. I don't necessarily see Murrdurr playing a Thor support, even though I do like
support.
It.
Could be Nasha solo.
I would rather see the Naja in the solo lane. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm famous at anything, but I'm rather famous for disliking the Naja support. I think that he offers a lot, and there's an interesting initiation there. But I always like him as a secondary sort of utilitarian support.
Yeah.
So I'd rather see him in the long lane or the jungle.
Boo.
It'll be the jungle, and Gamehunter will take Thor into the short lane over there in the solo lane. So again, I told you you would probably recognize these names. Gamehunter, NinjaBobat, Korinyo, Murrdurr, and Moex are the squad that make up the newest additions to the SPL.
This, to me, has the makings of a Panthera, of an Epsilon, right? Murrdurr coming out second place in Worlds in 2015. Korinyo, obviously a high-level player. Moex, a high-level player. One of the most feared hunters in Europe for quite some time. NinjaBobat finds himself at multiple lands. Gamehunter was a world champion. This squad has enough talent to where maybe they don't beat Panthera today. I'm expecting Panthera to take this, but over the course of 10 weeks, I would definitely not be surprised to find them in Sweden at DreamHack.
Exactly. This squad the potential is absolutely through the roof here. And Panthera, well, we already know just how strong the squad can be. A little bit of creativity, a little bit of raw strength, and just a lot of power.
You'll notice both solo laners, talking about Dimi and Gamehunter, have opted not to buy into a relic.
Love it.
This means that they're probably looking for teleport, and they're not going to use it unless they have to go back and get it first. This leaves the spot open in case they need to make a rotation to Gold Fury and instead want Curse or Shell or something similar. Now, in the early game, Bellona definitely is going to have an advantage. Not only is her clear much safer and she only has to use one spell, but if at any point Gamehunter wants to stop her from doing it, he's going to have to get his stun or his wall. Usually in the solo lane or in the jungle, you don't want that wall until level 4. So I'm very interested to see what Gamehunter is going to do here in the early game to deal with this insane clear.
And, you know, just to tack on what you were talking about, the relics, I love the move. There's absolutely nothing gained by purchasing teleport at level 1. You can back and then buy the teleport as soon as you back. And I'm just classic. I don't need to give you the information, so I'm not gonna.
The only thing that you could possibly gain is if you have it and there's a janky rotation to the mid lane that you can make, it could work out. Early game damage. Adapating not going to take a tower shot. Decent damage on both sides. Adapating takes the final hit there.
By the way, we completely off the mark. Yammyn is going to take Chiron into the mid lane. Just very Yammyn style as emilitoo plays in that long lane on Soul. Now, Neath is the hunter that plays mid, and Yammyn takes Medusa into the mid lane, and that's kind of weird. And now he's taking Chiron into the mid lane. And again, when a player has established, hey, I can bring different hunters in the mid lane, you just don't question it.
Adapating, looking for the jump over the wall here. It looks like Bobat and Korinyo are going to make an attempt. Very low. Ring actually might steal it. Jump going to do well on a Korinyo. Not enough damage from Yammyn just yet, and a good ring will send Adapating backwards, wasting his purification as well.
Beautiful play by NinjaBobat there. Uses the sash to interrupt the brutalize from Adapating, so only a single tick comes off on the mid laner. If Adapating was able to hit all 4 ticks of his brutalize, that was a dead Chronos for sure. Great heads-up play by the jungler on the side of Torpedo.
At the end, we're going to see both mid camps wind up going to the blue team. We did see Dimi and Adapating start at the mid camps, which is definitely my favorite start in the game right now. It is absolutely the highest team experience and team gold that there can be in the early game. They're very smart.
iRaffer is going to go ahead and freeze out what Murrdurr has to offer. That's a big deal in this lane. Since Guan has that channeled clear ability, iRaffer can technically interrupt it every single go if he feels like it.
Stellar Burst helping clear the wave, but unable to deal so far with Murrdurr's control. I like the way that iRaffer stopped out the Tallow Assault, but it's still getting a lot of damage off beforehand thanks to that Bluestone Pendant. He also has a meditation available to him, so I don't want to see a bait happen. I don't want to see emilitoo get stepped out of position because of a 1 or 2 hit kill that he could possibly pick up just to get baited and returned. But then again, this is emilitoo and iRaffer. I doubt they're going to fall into such a simple trap.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite plays from the World Championship were just how slippery this duo lane winds up being. They seem to be one character with 8 abilities rather, instead of 2 with 4.
As expected, Dimi gets the better of Gamehunter in Bellona versus Thor matchup, which obviously is very in favor of the Warrior. With that, forces Gamehunter back and into a pretty early teleport. Almost a 3-minute cooldown he'll have to incur from now, so that'll lock him to this lane for quite some time. He's going to have to use that ultimate well, but Dimi has control over the lane, and we'll get a rotation into the jungle. No, going to go back. Okay, boots must be done at this point.
Stopped out the Berserker's Barrage from Gamehunter with the ultimate. Dimi's not going to get a kill here, but he's just going to deal a lot of damage to Gamehunter, forcing him back.
That was amazing. Gamehunter has to go back now. Dimi wanted to go back anyway on a cooldown that he'll be able to earn back pretty quickly. And if Dimi is quick here with exactly enough mana, he's going to get experience and gold into that tower and start stripping away from Thor. And Thor is not a character that fares well from behind, especially from the solo lane where he needs to get as much gold and experience as possible.
Now, talking about that solo lane, the Thor in the solo lane is definitely not something most fans are used to seeing.
Right.
Can you break down why this assassin works or why Gamehunter wants to make it work in the solo?
He's a supporty type of assassin. He has 2 forms of CC, a ton of movement. He's hard to pick off. We're going into it. L for love as we jump into the air. Decent damage going to come out. Do they have the combo? No, off the mark on the time stop. Adapating will force the purification from Bobat and the fight will wash.
Well played by both teams. Great initiation from Torpedo, but Panthera shows up right on time. Adapating's there just to cover his teammate as well as iRaffer. Nothing really gained there.
For me, Korinyo's looking a lot like DJ Pernicus did yesterday. There's a few mechanical mistakes made early on, could wind up coming back to haunt him. I don't think that would have been a kill, even if he landed the time stop, but being off on that combo timing on a move that's so slow is a little worrying to me. Bobat, again in the jungle before, saved him by using that sash because he missed the time stop availability there as well. So far, to me, it doesn't really seem like Korinyo is playing with confidence. He seems like he's playing scared.
Well, it's very early on. Players' confidence levels can change as the game turns on.
That's fair.
So, with the 5 minutes on, all it takes is 1 kill, and all of a sudden you're feeling yourself. We've seen players go a little too far in the other direction as well. So, Korinyo's got a long game ahead of himself to see what he can land. iRaffer, on the other hand, well, his game is going to be exactly the same length, but he's going to go in the duo lane right now.
Speaking of the duo lane, let's take a look at the hunters here. Moex versus emilitoo. Moak's going right into boots, as opposed to emilitoo, of course, going into the stacking with Doom Orb. Usually we see a Transcendence, maybe even a Dev's Gloves, sometimes like that. He's going for a much more cost-efficient build. He's looking for boots. Right next is probably going to be Aussie. After that's going to be something like Iqbal, and then right into Chin Size.
Yeah, we saw a build come out from Zapman when he played Ram, who is all about the in-hand attacks. It was very, very inexpensive attack speed early on, and then he transitioned into more expensive items like Chin Sai a little bit later. So we'll track Ram's build and see what direction he opts to go. As far as the other builds are concerned, we've got Guan Yu in the Traveler shoes. More and more supports building these days.
As opposed to iRaffer, who disgustingly...
Gamehunter.
Oh, wow. Dimi actually gets the kill there off the walkaway. I'm getting him with that Scourge, of course. First Blood going to be going, and he gets soloed down.
So there's the answer to your question, at least for one time. Gamehunter gets soloed down by Dimi. Adapting comes over, but doesn't even need to be present for the kill.
Did you hear the comms, by the way? We just did a listen in with Adapting, and
did
he
we?
just yelled, God, I hate these stupid things.
The little elementals? They're cute. Purification used out by the big dog to negate the ultimate from Najjan, NinjaBobat, and, well, everybody on Torpedo coming around the corner. Adapting finds a way out. Korinyo rewinds, can't find the hit. And here comes the rest of Panthera.
Look at the wall. Perfect block. NinjaBobat in some trouble here. Thor taking to the side for the cover. First kill going to be emilitoo finding one. iRaffer finds another. Gamehunter will not be able to find much. In the back line, though, we're chasing it down. It'll be 3 abilities back to back to back to take up Murrdurr, and the world champions find themselves 4 kills ahead at 6 minutes.
That's the thing that I notice all the time, Brandon, with this Panthera team, is if somebody gets caught out or whatever happens, the team is always local.
Yeah.
They're, I won't say grouped up, but they're always local to each other. They're always able to respond to these I need help calls, and that's exactly what happened there.
You know, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when this team started, they were nobodies. I mean, iRaffer had some success. emilitoo almost had some success. The rest of the guys, they were good. Right, we knew that they were good, but they never really accomplished a major LAN win.
Right.
And iRaffer put this team together, and he put it on the basis of, okay, these guys are underrated. I think I can get them to work together, and I think I can get them to trust each other. And they turned from a mid-tier team to the world champions, and now even their weakest points in the game, which has always been their early game, is getting better and better and better.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said trust there, Brandon. These players play aggressive to the point where they absolutely know somebody is going to come and assist them in whatever goal they're trying to accomplish, and that's why they wind up doing so well, and that's a big part of why they won the world championship as well. So 4 kills to none as we approach the 10-minute mark here, and Panthera definitely looking very, very clean and well-rested. 2,300 in the lead already.
Yammyn facing off against 3, though not alone, as you see Adapting lurking in the woods. So far, a almost 2.3 thousand gold lead for Panthera, as we see the blue buff getting stolen away. A rather aggressive play from the weakened Torpedo, but still very smart of them to do that. Trouble here for Korinyo. Rewind not available yet. Few more seconds.
Double tap going to hit iRaffer, but not for much. And here comes Murrdurr. Wants to engage, so iRaffer throws down the ultimate just to deter the onslaught. Transition over from Dimi. He's looking at Bobat, and so is the Chiron, but it's not enough. Down from the sky comes Thor, and it's going to make enough stuns to stop the engagement.
The choices that iRaffer makes, like going into the ultimate and then popping it as soon as he thinks he's going to walk away to separate himself even further from the mages, this kind of thinking is so critical at this stage, especially with the way his team rotated over. By using the Ymir ultimate, it guaranteed forced them back a little bit, cancels it early to walk away, and gives enough time for Dimi to get in there to counteract their movement and their retreat by getting that Eagles rally to the backline, forcing Gamehunter to ult, which weakens Thor as a whole. Bellona doesn't need her ultimate anywhere near as much as Thor is going to need his.
Yeah, Thor with that semi-global, definitely want to be around. Pings come out as iRaffer notices the dropped ward right by mid lane. Curious to see how quickly they clear it.
Moax has a balance blade.
Interesting. Might just be going for immediate chins.
Usually not a great call. Without some form of penetration, it usually gets mitigated pretty heavily. Not a lot of attack speed either, so it winds up losing you a fair amount of DPS for an item that is considered luxury. Although the 40 damage will be much more efficient than something like Aussie, considering that he wants to get as much scaling off as possible when he goes into that ultimate Astral Barrage. But otherwise, usually this is not the item that we'd want to see. He might go Executioner here, but I doubt it.
Executioner has been changed drastically. If you're wondering where it went, they took the base protection off of it, or the stacking base protection. Now it's just the percentage. So now it's just flat, which makes it a lot less effective than an item like Titan's Bane, which we wind up seeing a lot in Season 3.
Teleporting in here, this is going to be Dimi coming right from the base. They're going to invade for the red buff, and they'll steal it immediately as Yammyn gets it with the masterful shot over on the left side. We're going to see emilitoo force them back as iRaffer plays it safe. They look to the Gold Fury.
I love to watch the pathing of that. So emilitoo takes the dangerous path in front of the opponents to say, we are aggressive enough to fight you, we don't care. And that creates enough space for this Gold Fury attempt. The Gold Fury success. Panthera takes the Gold Fury and the fight is started. Yammyn starts things off by taking down Korinyo, and Dimi answers back by taking out the support. NinjaBobat chased off to the right-hand side, stunned out by Thor. Gamehunter all the way from the solo lane, jumped on, and the rest of Panthera. The stun is strong, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Bellona finds the damage. Dimi takes out Gamehunter.
7-0 plus the objective. We're looking at a shutout here as we're at 11 minutes. The rest of Panthera grouping up to fight down, and there's that wall that iRaffer has been so famous for, taking down another objective. And with that, a bigger lead. Let's go to the graphs.
We'll take a look. 4,500 gold in the lead for Panthera. And as Brandon noted, not a single kill on the side of Torpedo. The squad looks so promising, but Panthera does not want to grant any wishes today. 3 kills to none in that team fight alone.
See, normally it would be a lucky shot for me, but Yammyn getting that third hit of the Chiron ult to kill Korinyo before the rewind goes off, it looked calculated.
Exactly.
For Gamehunter to land down and him to go for the full combo to get something on the board, it looked calculated that, again, Yammyn popped his purification at the same exact time that he knew he was going to want to teleport. This guarantees that Thor has no escape. They're able to pick him up in the end as well. Yammyn so far, despite the fact that his KDA is nowhere near that of Dimi's, is proving to be player of the game, for me at least, with the way that he has been playing this early game. He has been controlling, he has been damaging, he has been effective in all regards, and has maintained safety while doing it. It's brilliant play. And I'm sorry, with a character that's not supposed to be in the middle.
Yeah, all the while being the innovator at the same time as performing at a high level. What impresses me the most, Brandon, is that this is day one. And, you know, players, there's a long offseason. I'm not saying I want players to put their feet up and totally relax, but this guy looks like he's been grinding every day since they left.
And granted, this is a new team. Torpedo's just getting their, their feet wet, but these are not new players. These are world-class, sometimes even world champion players that are getting manhandled right now by Panthera.
I just respect the cleanliness that comes out of Panthera. They just look so put together and so clean. Like
right there.
Yeah.
iRaffer's at half health. How did he get there, and why are they running away from it? Can you be that scared?
I mean, Adapting and Yammyn are lurking right here. Yammyn's got a red buff around him. It's a lot of damage coming out from this trio. Especially knowing that that's a Ymir. Ymir's not exactly a low damage god.
And look at this. I'm, 2/3 health. I guess I'll walk into the enemy jungle for back camps at 13 minutes. This is a play that we should be criticizing, a play that should be considered ridiculous, but instead...
Well, Torpedo might make it look ridiculous. The rotation's coming from mid lane. Moex is going to be in some trouble of his own underneath his tower, though. Grabbed under. There's the ultimate from Moex.
You got
One
those,
shot's
Moex?
good.
Moex, you got those? Nope, not yet. Yammyn finding a kill onto NinjaBobat as well. It looks like Moex will be able to escape. Yammyn forced into the rewind. You got that wall?
Slow.
There's
wall.
The wall. Oh, man. Wait a second, iRaffer not in a great spot. Shell going to be popped. Decent damage onto Yammyn. One more shot plus Masterful will do it. Body blocks from... Nope, not going to be enough. That'll be the kill.
Yammyn's looking for the kill. Gets a heal off of Murrdurr. But a strong body block from iRaffer ensures the kill.
How is he alive?
He's...
Don't do it. Murrdurr, get out of there. Before another one falls, man.
Well played. Again, just watching iRaffer make sure the body blocks come out. And Dimi make sure he's got enough damage to take out Gamehunter before the tower does himself. 10 kills on the board in total for your defending world champions. Torpedo, none.
Any solo lane player will tell you, if you go off meta and you don't pick a warrior or a certain guardian and you fall behind, you're going to feel it for the rest of the game. You're going to get soloed repeatedly. The tower is not a safety zone because of how tanky warriors are, and Dimi is proving that. He has a 4-level advantage as well as, 2,500 gold?
That's a lot of gold.
That's way too... I mean, that's literally the entire urchin that he bought.
Pretty much, and also going to go into the Hammer of Slows. Worth noting that Tier 2 doesn't have it anymore, Mr. Heavy Hammer himself.
That's fine. Thank God. God bless.
You've been talking about that item for...
Since it came out. Since, like, the day it came out. Yes.
Well, Frostbound is the only way to get that passive now, so...
Still incredible.
We'll quickly see that. Yeah, we'll quickly see that come into the Tier 3, and that's a great item. I am happy that Heavy Hammer has been adjusted.
Yes.
Makes it fun.
Frostbound Hammer not only going to give Dimi more control, but it's a huge health spike. It's a good damage spike as well for a character who might not build too much of it. You'll notice so far, having that Urchin and the cooldown reduction from Breastplate is going to make him very, very tanky, almost impossible to fight, especially in a 1v1 situation, and Frostbound Hammer is going to let him box even harder.
And of course, don't forget the attack speed debuff that comes out.
That's right.
You're looking at a Ram, a Chronos, and a Najah. Don't sleep on Najah's basics. Late game with Flaming Spear, he becomes a hyper carry by himself.
Right, I mean, he goes into the Deathbringer, pops the Flaming Spear, it's a 1/3 chance to crit, and if he hits that 4th one, it could be 1,000 damage non-mitigated.
We've seen pros even go Fatalis, just a last item to take advantage of the fact you just start weaving through players almost like a heavy-handed Kali. It gets very scary.
Speaking of attack speed, I want to see Dimi pick up an attack speed item to go with this Frostbound Hammer. I would really like to see Iqbal, considering no one else on the team has it.
That makes sense. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of this.
Iqbal and Frostbound Hammer kind of do the things that the Witchblade does, but adding slows and a little bit more damage as well.
Grouping up by Torpedo, 3 players in the jungle, 1 in the mid, 1 on the side.
That level 11 Guan Yu should probably not be testing the level 18 Bellona.
That's Murrdurr. Kanye Life always being up in that front lane. Panthera just going to brute force this Gold's Fury. They're going to take it right in front of Torpedo's face. iRaffer is going to play zone duty, but with help from Dimi. Dimi caught out a little bit, just with the up-down. Double stun coming out from Raffer. And the shots through the wall from the Hunter player in the mid lane is Yammyn. Over from the wall comes Adapating.
Adapating likely to be the first kill here for Torpedo as Gamehunter lands and picks up the world-class jungler. Dimi and Raffer get stunned out. Emilitoo stuck between 4, but they're not grouping here. They're spreading out. Emilitoo very low. Stunned out as Gamehunter. Good freeze by Raffer.
Moex!
And there's Moex. Welcome back.
Showing up from the skies to put number 2 on the board for Torpedo. They come out of that engagement pretty much on the good side, trading out 1 for 2, 1 for 3. Moex gets a double kill in that engagement. The only ones alive on the side of Panthera, Dimi and Raffer.
Definitely overcommitted there. Panthera showing a chink in the armor as they decide to commit to a fight that really didn't belong to them. The wall off onto Dimi forced him to, if he's going to take the fight, ult in place, which he did instead of ulting away. A rather strange play from Panthera, choosing not the safest and most efficient route, but the most aggressive. Gamehunter countering perfectly with his ultimate. They sandwich Adapating right in the background for the first kill. And then, of course, Emilitoo being the target of Torpedo gets blown up.
What's important for me in that team fight, Brandon, is how well situated Panthera looked at the beginning. It was the stun from Dimi, the immediate follow-up stun from Raffer, and Chiron just laying ultimate shots into 2 players that were stunned in the same spot. Right. That's as good of a CC chain as you can ask. But Torpedo answered back.
I mean, it had a lot to do with the fact that their carries were in the back line, not taking a lot of damage. Moex was able to get his ult off and find Emilitoo. Gamehunter showed up late and disrupted the fight. Adapating had overcommitted, and it looked like they wanted that call. Torpedo showing that they are able to at least hold toe for now, but they're 9,000 gold behind, and at this stage of the game, that's likely a death sentence.
That's one of the nice things about having Ram on your side is that Bellona's ultimate is sort of a one time in a team fight effect, right? And the Raffer freeze, the initial stun is going to be the one time. Ram can take himself out of the fight during all of that nonsense.
Over on the right side, we'll see Raffer getting pushed out as looks like Emilitoo going to be helped by Dimi by pushing this tower down, doing what Soul does best, and that's, of course, rushing down structures.
Here's the ultimate from Adapating, immediately turned on by NinjaBobat. 3 shots in the sky, brought to the ground, but Adapating's going to find a way out. Dimi under the tower, so is Raffer. Chiron laying out the shots, not enough to take down Korinyo. He'll use Rewind to find himself at nice HP, and Raffer in some trouble now. Moex raining down the shots, not going to find the kill. Wow. Raffer will be saved.
And Adapating jumps back in, going to help Yammyn find the kill there. Gamehunter comes back in, not going to have much luck here either as Dimi rotates. 1 good shot, and there's the Scourge. Double kill actually for Yammyn, finding it from the back line. Bludgeon will push them back, and they still have a 4-person push onto this tower with Emilitoo in the background just being a jerk.
And he's going to keep it going. Emilitoo brings it low enough for Adapating to bring it home. NinjaBobat sit down as Panthera coming down this mid lane looking so strong.
And that's the teamwork I want to see from the champions, right? Adapating goes in, he gets baited by the Purification, ult gets wasted, he immediately gets ulted back. He's stuck in a bad spot. gets hit by the Nasha ult, sent up into the air, and as he's coming down, of course, everyone's looking to take him out. But Dimi jumps to the back line, stunning 2 to make the follow-up a little weaker. iRaffer puts up a good wall to ensure that when that stun's over, they're stuck there. Dimi tanks the tower, Adapating jumps and then brutalizes out of there to avoid the stop time, and then it's just out of nowhere, Yammyn coming in with the hot shots, destroying them.
And that's going back to the word trust, Brandon. You see that Fenrir taking out Gamehunter in that corridor, and you mentioned how he used Brutalize to get away from the time stop. He had the trust that his 2 teammates were going to finish the Thor, and then the rest of the team, emilitoo, had the trust that his teammates were going to follow up once he came from the backside. So Panthera definitely all on the same page and looking very, very strong in these engagements.
Bobat right there, once again, going to have to face down that wall that lasts seemingly forever. It's a 7-second wall that allows iRaffer to place down a sentry ward and take a free 50 gold. If they want to take that area back, it's going to cost them a sentry, and with Fire Giant up in that position, they don't really want to lose it.
Gamehunter going to stun out iRaffer for the moment. A lot of vision coming out from the boys on Torpedo, but it's just going to be negated.
Look at this 7-second wall, going to block that path off indefinitely.
Somebody pop Purification.
Who was that?
No, I guess I just thought I heard it.
No, yeah.
All Purifications only have about 30 seconds left, so a lot of these stuns can be good. I think that's why you see these teams sort of waiting for the opportunity.
That's FG.
They want to make sure they have their periods up.
That's a free Fire Giant.
Yep.
There's no one that can get anywhere close to this, and Yammyn has more than enough damage. With Ymir blocking paths off, it's done.
And that's a decision that Torpedo made.
Yeah.
Because this team is smart enough to understand that.
Yesterday, we criticized DJ Pernicus for trying to split push with Fenrir, and then when he died, we noted that he didn't use his ultimate, adapting immediately, jumping out, using the ultimate at any sign of danger, just as an escape method. He gets out immediately, then uses the Seething Hell to keep himself healthy at the Gold Fury. Fire Giant taken. There's no tier 2s left on the board, and with Gold Fury taken, they'll back with what I assume is a lot of gold. Let's go to gold in hand.
Look at that change, ladies and gentlemen. 22 on the clock, and the difference between these 2 teams is extravagant. 17,000 gold. Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
that is...
They just spent like 8K.
That's a lead.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
So I really want to talk about this piece of itemization. It's rare that I get excited about itemization, but Void Shield is on Adapating's Fenrir.
Yes.
I absolutely love this item.
Hover over Void Shield, please.
Yeah, if we can hover over it, it's important because it's about the numbers. So you get the 20 penetration coming out as an aura, and it's 30 physical power. Now, a lot of times, if you want to be a little aggressive, you buy the beat stick.
Right.
So what you're losing by buying Void Shield, you're losing 10 power to gain 50 physical protection, and you're gaining the same amount of penetration, but it helps your team.
Exactly. Like, think about the fact that Dimi has Iqbal, so he wants to be in the front line boxing. They have a Chiron as well that's going to be affected by that penetration, doing even more damage. This is going to ensure that there's a whole bunch more control. A little bit less on towers, a little bit more on gods.
And it's the perfect item for Fenrir. A nice hybrid, and right now, Naja's going to take an opponent to the sky. Come on, right down. So is Thor. Great follow-up, but it's not enough to take down Yammyn. NinjaBobat in some trouble, and meanwhile, so is Murrdurr. 2 kills already done for the Panthera boys. Yammyn's going to follow up Gamehunter's death. They're still taking out Moex. Not enough. He's going to find his way safely into the fountain, and now the Titan's being aggressed on by 2 members of Panthera and a bunch of minions, but it might be a little too soon.
Remember the time that Yammyn was almost dead and not full health? I remember.
Titan onslaught from Panthera. 17 plus 1,000 gold in the way of your World Championship squad. They come out unscathed, 1-0.
You know, for the new viewers out there who have joined us since we launched on console or Steam, you might not know a lot of the names on Torpedo, and you think the World Champions should have ran through that team as hard as they did. That was a surprise to us.
Yeah.
Panthera is amazing. They're clearly the best team in the world. I don't think anyone's doubting that. But for them to do that well against such an all-star squad is pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, some of these guys have been at LANs. Some of these guys have won LANs. The very first tournament, the launch tournament, Gamehunter was on that squad that won that. So just fantastic stuff. Why don't we take a look at how well Panthera looked? We'll take a sneak peek at some of the plays that went on. This is the first blood, of course. Dimi taking on all by himself. Gamehunter, and what a way. Welcome back to the SPL, Gamehunter.
Do you see the way he did that bludgeon? Not only did he get the hit on the bludgeon, but he looked to the left side to ensure he wasn't getting ganked first. and then still hit it blind. Like,
Yeah.
that's Dimi.
That's when you look at the high-end
Killer.
players, that's really what I like to see. The subtle camera movements out of the players. You ever watch a support player? They're always moving their cameras around. Solo laners got to be careful of those ganks as well. And supports, as I mentioned, a really big part of it. Why don't we watch iRaffer? He's got our player of the game here coming out on this Ymir. Huge part of what his team was able to do.
This guy's walls, like, redefined a character that has been out since beta. Look at that. He created an alcove on the left side that they'd have to run into and get stuck, creating a longer route that they'd have to run to get out of it, and then helping Dimi get this kill right after. That was 3 kills right off the bat in that fight. And then here's another one, level 12 right now, so we're getting close to the mid-game, and the wall just immediately shuts down one of the most powerful ults in the game.
Guan Yu, you're just not relevant in this fight anymore. And what's important about this situation going on here, this is a stall tactic for adapting to get out of that problem. He was being ganked by 3 players. iRaffer shows up, stuns 3 people that he has no business being there, and it saves Adapting's life.
And look at that, another camera swap. He looks down to the tier 2 to see if anyone's rushing in, and now at low health is continuously just pressuring, using a very small amount of mana, keeping himself separated from the mage to ensure that Yammyn can get the hits. When Yammyn might be in a little bit of trouble, he moves forward and tries to draw some attention, which he does.
Big part of that one play coming out from iRaffer as well. That freeze was up a long time before he used it. That could have ensured the death of Chronos a long time before Chronos actually died, but he saved it for that Tallow Assault. And these are the decisions that Brandon and I are talking about when we talk about iRaffer and how strong his characters like Ymir are. So we'll see what iRaffer decides to go with, if he wants to pick an aggressive character like an Ymir, or if he'll play it a little bit more safe on Sylvanas. Picks and